Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the country's biggest stars and some of the most talented people too. David Barnes has been on the road for, well, decades really, as a musician, vocalist and pianist who shot to fame on The Voice. This year he's going back on the road with a brand new tour called California Dreamers, and he's got a brand new CD out as well, which is fantastic, let's face it. And I'm delighted to say that David joins us on the show now. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Glad to be on there.
It's so nice to talk to you. You know, the thing is about that Voice programme is it doesn't always make sense. I mean, there have been West End legends that go on there who get booed off and don't get the chairs to turn round, and then there's other people who aren't necessarily that good who do. You seem to be sort of in the middle where they really liked you and you made your own niche, and it's done you no harm, has it? It's always a risk with reality shows like that.
Yeah, it is a risk, but I think it's one of them things when you go on that show, it depends on what they want on their team at the time, what type of voice they want. I was just really lucky, you know. It's one of those things I've always wanted to do since I've been doing music, really. And it's not so much about the reality show side of it. I just wanted to know if people like my voice, you see what I mean?
Yeah, I do, but at the same time, the fact that you've been in work most of your life proves that you've got a talent and that you are popular. In one way, that affirmation is almost irrelevant, isn't it?
Possibly, but in terms of vocal talent, nobody's really ever looked at me in the past. You see, so right. I always wanted to just to make that move and just see if I can get that chair turn, if possible.
I love your tone, and you really get to hear it on this new album, which is called The Recreated Album, and it celebrates your voice beautifully. How would you describe what you do?
I think contemporary, really. That album that we're talking about here, which is the album that's out now, the Recreated album, that was really to promote the show, so the California Dreamers show, because California Dreamers is obviously all about 60s and 70s. So I thought I would do an album of covers, they're all classic songs, to be fair. You know, that's some merchandise we sell at the shows, and that's promoting my name as it is at the moment. But the things in the future is a lot more contemporary than that, and there's some really exciting stuff about to happen, and I can't wait.
You've worked all over the world. I wonder what you've enjoyed doing the most. Is it theatres you enjoy, or what is the place that you enjoy performing the most?
Do you know what? I just think it's performing live. And the one thing that I get from it is, you know, music breeds memories, in my opinion. Yeah. And it doesn't matter where you sing a song, somebody can relate to that song. So for me to deliver that to any audience all over the world, it's just an amazing feeling. So anything live for me, it's got to be live. I don't like working with you know, like pre-recorded things and all that. It's got to be live. I just love it.
What's interesting as well is your confidence. When you walked out on that stage, I mean, you've got to have your lifetime's experience to keep your nerve or you'd just crumble. You looked pretty calm. Were you sort of the swan paddling under the water going mad, or were you actually as calm as you looked?
Yeah, not probably quite as calm as what I looked, actually. You actually stand next to that microphone on the stage on the blind auditions for quite some time before you sing the song. So on the show, it looks like it's about 10 seconds. But when you stood in front of an audience of 500 people in those 4 chairs for probably about a minute, that's quite a long time, actually. So I was quite nervous, I have to say. But hopefully the performance didn't show that.
Why do you think they make you do that? Is it to add more tension to you and to test your nerve? Because it seems a pretty unfair thing to do. There's no technical reason why they need to make you stand there for a minute, is there?
Well, I asked that question, to be honest, in the green room before I went on, because I'm a little bit, I suppose I'm a little bit older than the other guys that were on there. Yeah. And I just wanted to know what the crack was. And they said, no, we need to get the cameras right. And I thought, yeah, okay, I'm not really believing that.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're standing on a spot, they know who's on that spot, whether it's you or the next guy, don't they?
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. I suppose it's TV. And again, that feeling when they did turn round, I suppose that's the ultimate relief, whether one or all 4, it makes absolutely no difference, does it? Is that even more shocking than standing there in the beginning, because then you know that you have got through to the next round, so to speak, and then you've got to now deliver on the next episode?
Well, yeah, it was, to be honest, on the actual day, I never even saw him turn the chair.
Right.
You don't hear the noise, you know, the big noise that it makes when you push the button. You don't even hear that in the studio.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't even realise he turned his chair, and I was looking at the audience to the right-hand side. When I saw his chair had turned round, that's when the pressure's on, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't wanting all four to turn. Like you said, it's totally irrelevant. But as soon as you see him looking at you, it's like, right, okay, you need to turn the game on now. But a really, really interesting experience, I have to say. A lot more into it than what people think, but a great experience nevertheless, and it's led to what I'm doing now, which is superb.
Interesting career too. I mean, you've worked with so many interesting and brilliant people. Talk to us about some of the names. I mean, my mate Russell Watson, who I just think is such a fantastic live entertainer and probably one of our greatest vocalists ever. You've worked with him and people like Kat Jenkins and JLS, all these kind of people.
Yeah.
And interestingly, people like Status Quo, from megastars to classical artists. You worked across the sort of all genres.
Yeah, well, Status Quo, I think, is probably the one that I worked with the most. I was their backing singer for, I don't know if you remember, but In the Army Now, they released that song in 1985, I believe. And they re-released that song for Help for Heroes in 2010. So they wanted some military backing singers, so obviously I put my name forward and I got the job. So it was great to work with them two guys. Amazing experience, and we went on to Terry Wogan Radio 2, performed in front of 10,000 people live with these guys. They're just amazing people, and actually really down to earth, and just like me and you. You can have a chat to them just normally. It's so good, honestly.
Isn't that an amazing thing when people are willing to take you on your talent and what you do equal to them? It's always thrilling, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, because it's getting the recognition that I suppose you've always wanted, But Francis Rossi and they're just so funny, them two guys, honestly. Such a shame that one's passed over now, but what an amazing group of people. They really are.
That's the tough thing about show business, especially at the moment. It seems I'm writing more obits than I am doing new interviews. It's just that time at the moment, isn't it? It's quite sad.
It seems to be, but when you lose, big talent like that, it's a massive hit to the industry, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. Not great. And then we look at how you started and where you began. I mean, did you do the clubs and all that sort of thing? Because that's a great way to learn your craft, because if you can sort of fit in between the bingo and the raffle and still pull it off, you're not doing bad, are you, Ryan?
No. I was in a band called Final Decision when I was 15.
Right.
And we travelled around the bass circuit in Lancashire. The guitar player was only 12, and the drummer was 13. So that's where I really started to get into the gigging live thing, and I suppose that really paved the way for a full career in it, because you find out at that age if you actually want to do it full time or not, really. And I've never looked back ever since. It's just such a whirlwind of a life, honestly.
I always love talking to you guys. I mean, life on the road is never easy, whether you're flying off to a cruise ship to do 45 minutes that takes 3 days to get there, or whether you're doing a club 6 hours away. That's the reality of what you do, isn't it, really?
It is, absolutely, yeah. I'm on the Butlin circuit at the moment. I'm doing quite a few gigs down there. And exactly as you say, it's 45 minutes for a 3.5 hour car journey. But the benefit from it is even better, so I absolutely don't mind at all.
It's very interesting, this Butlin circuit. It seems to me a bit like the cruise ships in a way. It's become very cool, and the biggest people are doing it. It's no longer cliched, and it's certainly nothing to laugh at, and they actually pay decent money. It's amazing how things turn around, isn't it? If we'd have said in probably the 90s to be a Blue Coat was a laughing stock or to be a headliner at Butlins, you'd have probably agreed. Yeah. But now it's suddenly the in thing and everybody's doing it. I mean, Brian Conley's there. All the biggest names in comedy are willing to go and perform there. It's incredible.
Yeah, exactly. But I was exactly the same mind frame as you. Years ago, when people mentioned Butlins, I thought, I don't want to do that. It's a bit cruise ship, and if you're on a cruise ship, you haven't made it. But actually, when I got offered the gig, I looked on Butlin's website, and they had steps there. They had, and all these big bands are coming back now. So I thought, I've got to jump on the back of this for sure.
And do you get a live band there too?
No, I just play piano and sing down at Butlins at the moment. So it's acoustic sets, really, which is really intimate, really, for the audience. It's quite cool.
It's very interesting. Last night I was watching that Elton John show, and I think it was John Legend who was on there, and he said, "Thank you, Elton, for making a guy playing a piano cool again." And it's true, isn't it? I mean, there's nothing more thrilling. Billy Joel's probably one of my idols. To see a guy who can just sit there and entertain with a little piano in the corner with a magnificent voice, it never gets old. It's a timeless gift you've got.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can touch any audience with it. Actually, it doesn't matter what age it is. And if you're good enough, you can, take requests and all that type of thing, which is what I do when I go down to Butlins. And it's such a good laugh, honestly. The audience dance with a piano and a singer. How weird is that?
Talk to me about that skill where I can throw something at you and you know where to place it on the piano. Is that some kind of God-given intervention, or where does that come from? Is it you having read it previously and sort of you've got a photographic memory, or can you just feel the music, or do you just know immediately where a note is on the piano?
Well, it's all patterns, really.
Right.
So it's really hard to explain, to be fair, but if somebody said, I can hear music before it's played. So if I listen to a song, I know exactly where the bass guitar is going to go. I know exactly where the keyboard's going to go. And I think it's just years and years of experience. I've been doing it for 25 years, really. So it is a skill. I don't think it's a God-given gift, actually. I don't necessarily think you're born with it, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. It's one of those trades that you never stop learning,
And the hours you put in as a kid, whilst other people were playing football, is it that story that you were there by your piano learning how to do what's forged a career?
I was never that physical as a kid. I wasn't.
Me neither.
While everybody was playing football, I was playing the piano.
Amazing. Well, it's paid off.
Absolutely, yeah, it's great.
Just talk to me about the guys who were on the year that you did it. It was the last BBC series, wasn't it, that you were on?
It was, yeah. So Kevin Sim, Jolan, Tom Milner, they're really Lydia Lucy from Essex as well. She's doing really well at the moment. I think there was 4 or 5 of us really that has continued to do it since the show's finished. Actually,
and the judges were will.i.am, Ricky, obviously, who picked you, and then Boy George and Paloma. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
will.i.am's the one I don't get so much. I think he's an acquired taste for those who sort of maybe a bit younger than me. It's a unique thing he's forged, but there's no doubting his success, is there?
Yeah, no, he's got amazing success, but like you say, he's listening for a specific person, and he likes the really young people that can rap, which is his type of music, to be fair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ricky Wilson was perfect for me.
Absolutely.
Because he's into his rock music and stuff like that, isn't he? So perfect for me, really.
Do you ever lose your nerve when you're in a room with those people, as if it's just 2 mates, whether it's you and Ricky or 3, if there's Boy George in the room or Paloma happens to walk in? I mean, what a voice she's got.
Like I say to everybody that always asks me about the show, they're just normal people. They just treat you like one of the mates. It's a really good experience like that, because I think everybody's got this, people think they've got a stigma about them, but they really haven't, honestly. They're just so normal and make you feel really welcome. So actually, it's just a really enjoyable experience, to be fair.
I'm off to Vegas next week for a few weeks to take with all the stars there, and one of the things I love about their community is they can't wait for another muso to turn up in another guy's show so they can get them on stage and just play and have fun. And that's the sign of true stars, isn't it? When they're just excited to be around people as great as them. I love that.
Did you say that I'm going to Vegas next week?
No, I'm going to Vegas. You can come if you like.
I'm going as well.
Are you?
I am actually going next week, yeah. I'll see you there.
Oh, brilliant. I get in on the 13th, so I'm there for 3 weeks. How long are you there for?
I get in on the 13th as well.
No, you're not flying on the Virgin flight from Gatwick, are you?
No, it's from Manchester.
Oh,
I'll see you there.
Yeah, well, seriously. Before we go, let's talk about this touring show. California Dreamers is on the road, and it's a show that celebrates basically great songs, isn't it? In a heartbeat, you get to see all these great songs from the 60s mainly, and God, do we love them. I mean, I was on a station called Gold for a year or so, and they're timeless, these classics, aren't they? Just beautiful.
Yeah, these guys wrote songs that changed the airwaves forever, really. James Taylor, Carole King, all these, the Eagles, really, and look how successful they were, and we're covering all of those songs, but we do it in a very different way on this show. It's a band on stage, so it's more like a jukebox musical, really, but we have video clips from interviews of each band in between each song, and it's quite interesting. It's quite an educational show, to be fair. But what a reaction we've had so far! You know, standing ovations every time, and it's such a great show to go and see. Everybody's dancing in the aisles. It's one of those, when you're on that stage looking at the audience and they get out of the seats and start dancing, it's perfect. It's a really good experience.
You can go to the website californiadreamers.co.uk. You'll be coming to Redditch and Colville and Scotland, Dorset, Exeter and Bridgnorth as well. Keep an eye on the website. Dates being added all the time. californiadreamers.co.uk. And of course, you can find out more about David Barnes. Just put it into Google and it'll come up there. Again, when you click on YouTube and see yourself there on The Voice, performing with that beautiful lighting and the great orchestra and in that beautiful setting with the lighting, it must be thrilling. I mean, if nothing else, to have that as your demo is no bad thing, is it?
Yeah, looking back on it now, it's almost like, did I actually do that?
Incredible.
But it's great. You know, I always point people to... and it's amazing how many gigs you get and people are interested when you mention you've been on that show. So a great platform, and it's amazing to be doing what I'm doing now, and some of the stuff in the future is going to be fantastic.
I think these shows are all the same, really. If you're trying to fake it, you'll be caught out very quick. It's sort of a lifetime's work paying off in that 3-minute segment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you don't perform well on there, that's it. It's make or break, really, isn't it?
Yeah, beautiful.
But yeah, you know, I've got, if people want to find me on social media, I'm on there. If you just go straight through to my website, I've got my own website as well, which is davidbarnesentertainment.com, and I've got all my links on there to the album and all my social media platforms. So it'd be great for people to check me out and see what I'm doing.
And you can find him on Twitter as well. He's at Dave Barnes UK, and you can find out what he's doing on a daily basis. Really lovely to talk to you, David. I'll see you in Las Vegas.
Thank you very much. Look forward to it.